Hey everyone, welcome back to our English learning podcast. Today, we've got a heartwarming story to discuss called The Starfish on the Beach. It's about a summer trip to an island, unexpected lessons, and one unforgettable encounter with a little girl and hundreds of stranded starfish. That's right. This story is more than just a vacation tale. It's about small acts making a big difference. We'll break down the story, dive into the vocabulary, and explore what it teaches us in real life. So, stay tuned as we journey through each part together. Let's kick things off by reading the story, one sentence at a time. Here we go. Last summer, I took a trip to an island. I had a lot of fun. I sat and watched the waves and listened to the ocean. Continuing, I learned to identify birds. I discovered pretty things and enjoyed the taste of new foods. It was a very nice time. Then it gets interesting. One evening I took a pleasant walk by the ocean. When the waves came in, many starfish fell on the beach. Some starfish went back into the water and they were safe. But other starfish were still on the sand. They would die if they did not get into the water. There were many starfish on the beach that night. It made me sad, but I knew I could not fix the problem. I stepped very carefully so I did not damage them. Then I saw a little girl. She was also sad about the starfish. She wanted to prevent all of them from dying. She asked me if I could perhaps help her. To be frank, I don't think we can do anything, I said. The little girl started to cry. She sat back against a rock and thought for a while. Finally, the emotion was gone. She stopped crying and stood up. Then she picked up a starfish and threw it into the water. "What are you doing?" I asked her. But she did not answer me. She just threw as many starfish as she could. "You cannot save all of them," I said. She stopped to look at me. "No, I cannot save them all," she replied. Then she picked up a very big starfish and said, "But I can save this one." And then she smiled and threw the starfish as far as she could into the ocean. So, starting from the top, what stands out to you about the narrator's summer trip? There's a real sense of curiosity and appreciation for nature. Absolutely. The narrator isn't just lounging around, they're actively engaging with their surroundings, learning to identify birds and tasting new foods. It paints a picture of growth and discovery, which sets the tone for the emotional moments coming up. I also like how the calmness of watching waves contrasts with the unexpected drama of the starfish on the beach. It's like a plot twist in a summer vacation. Yeah, it goes from peaceful to urgent pretty quickly. The story draws us in by showing how a relaxing walk can suddenly turn into a situation where someone's compassion is put to the test. When the narrator sees all those stranded starfish, it's clear they feel helpless. Why do you think that moment is so powerful? It's relatable. Sometimes we're faced with problems that seem way too big for us to handle, like the narrator seeing hundreds of starfish. There's sadness and a sense of responsibility, but also the realization that you can't save everyone or everything. Exactly, and the fact that they step carefully to avoid causing more damage shows empathy, even when they don't have a solution. It's a subtle lesson in doing no harm, even if you can't fix the whole problem. Great point. That careful approach is like a metaphor sometimes. The best we can do is avoid making things worse, even if we can't make them better right away. Now, when the little girl enters the scene, the energy changes. She's sad at first, but quickly moves to action. What do you make of her response? Her reaction is both emotional and inspiring. She doesn't accept that nothing can be done. She feels the sadness, but channels it into doing what she can. I love how she doesn't waste time arguing. She just starts saving starfish one by one. It's such a powerful message. Sometimes a child's perspective cuts through adult cynicism. Instead of focusing on the impossible, she focuses on what's possible. Right, and her determination actually rubs off on the narrator, making them question their own assumptions. It's a classic case of optimism versus resignation. The little girl's line, "But I can save this one," really hits home. Why do you think this moment is so memorable? It's a mic drop moment, honestly. She acknowledges she can't solve the entire problem, but she refuses to let that stop her from helping at least one. It's a reminder that even small actions matter, especially to the one being helped. That line has inspired a lot of people outside this story too. There's even a famous quote based on it. It's a call to focus on what you can do, not what you can't. Totally. It's a mindset shift, choosing to do something instead of nothing, even when the odds seem overwhelming. Let's connect this story to our own lives. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a big problem and wondered if your actions even matter? Oh, for sure! Whether it's helping out in the community, supporting a friend, or even picking up trash at the park, it can feel like a drop in the ocean. But like the girl, if we focus on helping even one person or making one small improvement, it still counts. Exactly. I think this story is a great reminder that our efforts, no matter how small, can make a real difference to someone. It's about having the courage to act, not just feeling sad or overwhelmed. And honestly, sometimes those small actions inspire others around us to get involved, just like the narrator was moved by the girl's determination. Let's break down some of the story's key vocabulary, starting with against. Can you explain what it means here? Sure. Against means touching or leaning on something, or sometimes opposing it. For example, in the story, the girl sat back against a rock. She's physically resting on it. You could also say they both leaned against the wall. That clears it up. Next up, beach. A beach is a sandy or rocky area by the ocean. In the story, the starfish are stranded on the beach. As another example, the little girl built a sandcastle on the beach. Easy to picture, right? Let's keep going. What about damage? How's it used in this story? Damage means to break or harm something. The narrator stepped carefully so they didn't damage the starfish. Another example, the car was damaged in the accident. Great. And discover? Discover means to find something for the first time. In the story, the narrator discovered pretty things on the island. For instance, I discovered some new information in this book. How about emotion? Emotion is how you feel, like sadness or happiness. The girl's emotion changed from sadness to determination. Example, anger is a common emotion that we all feel. Let's keep the vocab train rolling. What's fix in this context? Fix means to make something work again. The narrator said they couldn't fix the problem of the stranded starfish. Like, my dad has many tools to help him fix broken things. And frank? Frank means being honest, even if it's blunt. The narrator was frank with the girl about not being able to help. Another example, the teacher had a frank discussion with her students. What about identify? Identify is to recognize or name something. The narrator learned to identify birds, like, I used the file to identify his name. And finally, island? Island is land surrounded by water. The whole story takes place on an island. For example, Japan is a group of islands. Let's squeeze in a few more. Ocean, prevent, rock, and save. Can you walk us through them? Ocean is the big body of salt water where all the action happens in the story. Prevent is to stop something. The girl wanted to prevent the starfish from dying. Rock is a hard thing in the ground. The girl sat against one. And save means to keep safe. She wanted to save as many starfish as she could. That's a lot of useful words. For example, the ocean can make powerful waves. The handcuffs prevented me from moving my hands. I stacked rocks on top of one another. I want to help save the world. Perfect examples. Practicing these in sentences really helps lock in the meanings and pronunciation. Now it's your turn. If you were on the beach with all those starfish, what would you do? Can you think of a time when you helped someone, even in a small way? And here's another one. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a big problem? What small steps did you take to deal with it? Share your stories or thoughts with us. We'd love to hear how you'd handle a situation like the one in the story. That wraps up our deep dive into the starfish on the beach. Remember, every small effort in learning English counts, just like saving one starfish at a time. Keep practicing, stay curious, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Every word you learn brings you closer to fluency. Thanks for joining us. Keep up the amazing work and we'll catch you next time. Take care, everyone, and remember to make your own waves in learning. See you soon.